Welcome back to this already the final segment of today's Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Let me tell you, it's your business to really keep an eye on the business itself and not on those things that are distractions like your staffing. I know your staffing is important, but very few people get into business for staffing. Unless they're in the staffing business. They get into business to build that which they aspire to grow something. And that's why I'm a huge fan of what Annette Muggs does over there at Carlton Staffing. That's carltonstaffing.com. They are leaders at helping people focus on their primary business. They take care of all kinds of liability issues and vetting issues, and they make so much sense. Your company has always made sense, but especially what's happening in the political dynamics and the government dynamics of the last few years, now more than ever, people need to be talking to your company.
Thank you. I couldn't agree more, Kevin. Thank you so much. I love the way you describe our business.
I expected a little bit of objection on your part, but anyway. I love what you do, and I'm glad you keep doing it.
Oh, thank you so much. And just to add to that, Carlton Staffing is in Houston, Dallas, and Fort Worth, and we place any support position in an office or any position out in the warehouse, including skilled trade. And we also have a company called KTEK that does engineering and IT placement. But we're here today to welcome my guest, Scott Brown, who's the president of the Company of Others. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on, Scott. Kind of tell us your story. And by the way, his website, thecompany.com.
Great. So, like you said, I'm the president of the Company of Others. We are a business innovation and marketing firm. And really what that means is that I think we're the next evolution of advertising agencies. So we really have shifted from focusing on marketing deliverables to helping companies connect the dots between their marketing needs, but also their sales goals, their R&D goals, and how do all of those things converge on one solution that they can use to move the business forward.
Annette?
That's a lot. So I love the name itself, and it sounds like what you just described is one of the reasons why you came up with that. But can you share with us just how you did come up with the name The Company of Others?
Sure. So really, it's all about the context in which companies are doing business and focusing on that. It's not enough. Companies really look inward. I think that is inherent in being part of a corporation, is that you're looking inward, you're focusing on your core business, as you said. But the reality is there's a whole world out there, and all of those, there are many, many forces that impact your company, and we really try to take all of those voices into play when we're coming up with solutions for our businesses. So what's going on out there in the world, what's happening in the political world, what's happening in the culture, what's happening with the innovators within a certain industry, and looking at all of those voices and saying all of those things are relevant when it comes to looking and creating a solution for a business. So it's everyone's voice, basically.
Wow.
So how would you say that you differ from others in your industry?
Yeah. So I think the real distinction is that we're focused not just on the marketing deliverable, but on a solution that is going to move the entire business forward. We don't actually look at the CMO as our client necessarily. We look at the CMO as well as the CEO, the CFO, the head of technology, all of these things, because it takes an entire organization to put a relevant solution into the marketplace. And so we have to be able to connect the dots between all of those things. So really and truly, we are there to solve business challenges. And if we solve those challenges, then we get to make some advertisements at the end of the day. Yeah. But it's not our primary product. Our primary product is the business solution. We get that right, then we get to do the things that we love to do, which is to make TV commercials and websites and that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's almost as if the latter is a product of the former.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Exactly.
So how do you gauge for a company, what the value of what the client is going to receive based on what they pay you? How do you gauge that?
Right. So I think that it's really simple, and yet it's complex at the same time. At the simplest level, it's about growth. So can we drive the business forward? Whatever the growth goals are, whether it's sales or revenue or whatever that might be. But then there's the complex side of it. So if you really look at it, have we come up with a solution that has moved the business forward? And that's the intangible part of it, right? Did the idea that we brought to bear not only help you move the business forward, help you leapfrog your competitors, did it also help you grow? So at the end of the day, when we're really defending our fees, we're looking at both of those things. Did we solve the intangible that you couldn't necessarily solve on your own? Did we partner with you to do that? And yes, did we drive your growth goals as well?
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, I noticed here that you have offices in Houston, Dallas, and New York City. Where did you get started?
We started here in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the company of others was a 30-year-old advertising agency here in town called FKM that I purchased with a couple of partners. And over the last 4 or 5 years, it's really evolved into the company that I've been describing to you.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Annette?
So I think maybe it's just me, but I know that an advertising firm really just seems like such a cool job. Mm-hmm. And when I think about the kids who are coming out of college now and they're starry-eyed and they're thinking about, I want to work for an advertising firm or a marketing firm, and in your case, it's kind of both, right? What advice would you give to these kids? Because sometimes they get out and they're incorrect in their assumption about what to expect. So what advice would you give to these kids?
Look, I think that the reason that they want to get into it is no different than the reason that I wanted to get into it, 15, 20 years ago. And that is that I wanted to do something innovative. I wanted to be creative in my work life. That has not changed. What has changed is that the world has become more complex and the business challenges are more complex. And so I would say you're going to be innovative, you're going to be creative, but your deliverables are going to be a little bit more abstract than they used to be. So it's not that you're going to spend all day making TV commercials or websites. You're going to spend all day solving business challenges in a very innovative, creative way. And if you get it right, like I said earlier, you'll make some TV commercials after that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Annette Monks is with the great people over there, one of the great people, the fearless leader of Carlton Staffing over there, carltonstaffing.com. Scott Brown, our guest, he's president of the Company of Others, and a really interesting conversation. My generation, we got kind of turned on to the possibility of being in the advertising field by watching Bewitched. Because Darren Stevens was, an advertising executive, and that type of thing. And so, were you relatively young when you became interested in the whole space, or?
Well, look, I liked Bewitched too when I was a kid growing up. I thought
it's been in syndication for millennia. So,
look, I would just say it's exactly like somewhere between Bewitched and Mad Men is exactly our everyday. No, I don't know. I think that kids who are creative and innovative, they yearn to find a career that allows them to think that way. And I think that's really that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, very important. I think it's really important as well that there's a conveyance of more than just a nifty message. It does have to reflect values. It has to have integrity, and that's where the relationship part of your company is so important, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that as a principal in the agency, a big part of my role is really making sure that we have incredible relationships with our clients so that when they have a real challenge, they actually will express that to us. They won't just say, here's the list of services I need. They'll say, here's the challenge I'm trying to solve. This is what keeps me up at night. If you can help me do this, we're great.
Yeah.
But that takes trust, and that takes the relationship.
Absolutely. Annette, final thoughts?
Yeah, you've done a lot of cool things just in the last 4 years. And is there anything in particular that you're most proud of?
I think that the evolution of the company itself is the thing that I'm most proud of. I took over a company that was struggling because the world had changed drastically, and saying, okay, let's change. Let's look at the world. Let's try to be as relevant as humanly possible, and let's do it quickly, because if we don't do it quickly, we'll fail. And I think that that's the thing that I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
Being agile, being willing to change.
Very, very good. Thanks so much for being with us, Annette Monks. Again, she's with Carlton Staffing, carltonstaffing.com. And Scott Brown, he's president of the Company of Others, thecompany.com. Do want to remind the listeners the show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. While they're like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. Have a great day. Spend it wisely right here on this station.